What's up? Welcome in Fishbain and Jahns. Adam Hoge is, I don't know, Kev. He's out somewhere doing his best John Fox impression still this week. Did you hear him the other day?
I know what he's doing as we record this podcast, Jahns. He's not on this podcast. He's busy breaking down all 22. His secret bootlegged all 22 because I can't get it yet. I can't access it.
Secret bootleg all 22. I'll get on him for that.
Yeah, let's figure that out. Is this like a high school special teams coordinators get special all 22?
Yeah, I'm sure something like that.
Yeah.
But he's out. He still sounds like John Fox. Doesn't want to do the podcast. I get it. His throat still hurts. His voice is still gone, but he can still tweet GIFs and videos of the All-22. It's not a bad film. Kev, you watched it, right? Some of it, not the All-22, but you watched the game again.
Yeah, no, I watched a decent amount of it. I'm waiting to dive into the All-22. Got to grind on that tape, Johnsy. It's that time of year. Yeah, it was to quote Dennis Green, it was what we thought it was. You know, kind of an ugly first half and came alive in the second half. And I think we saw, similar to good Bears teams, that if these guys have a lead in the fourth quarter and they're at home, they could be in pretty good position. Yeah, it helps when you're in a torrential downpour.
You can see the energy. Well, that torrential downpour helps when you're playing in a puddle, a giant puddle, a giant pond that Soldier Field became. All right, you know the deal. You could read Adam Hoge, whatever video breakdowns he has later at allchgo.com. He is still out with a lost voice. You can read Kevin Fishbain and I know you follow us on Twitter already. We're at theathletic.com. You have your Monday morning breakdown. It's Tuesday, but the Monday morning rewind, Monday afternoon rewind, we should call it, right? Because Matty Eberflus is no longer in the morning.
Monday rewind.
Did you take note about how he dressed? I don't know why I thought about this. So he comes up to the podium lectern, and like John Fox is always like in like a collared shirt. Remember those days?
Yes.
Matt Nagy for a little bit would wear the collared shirt. Remember that?
Yeah, Eberflus was in Bears gear, wasn't he?
Full Bears gear, like he just practiced.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought about that.
He's a football coach.
Guy. Yeah, football guy. Big time football guy. Get the merch, obviousshirts.com. You can see it here on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and you know where we are. Rate and review the podcast. Tell a friend. Kevin, we got to wrap up week one. I think, as Kent pointed out, a lot of folks, at least nationally, we'll do this briefly, everybody, at least nationally, are blaming the 49ers for the loss and giving the Bears credit for this one. I wanted your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's not surprising. I had somebody in the league text me if Jimmy G was starting, the 49ers win that game.
What did I tell you before the game?
Yeah, I don't disagree with it.
My quote was, Kevin, I think the best quarterback in this game is actually on the sideline right now.
Yeah. Trevor Siemian.
Nathan Peterman.
It's okay. I think, you know me, I'm a big, two things can be true guy, right? Which is different than being a both sides guy. Got to clarify that. I'm a big two things can be true guy. I think that there's a lot of good things the Bears can pull, and it's very impressive they won that game. I do think the weather helped a lot. I think the 49ers penalties helped a lot. I think Trey Lance's struggles and inexperience helped a lot. And we'll probably get a better sense of who the Bears are next Sunday night, which I know we'll get to in a little bit. So I think I understand why everyone's kind of you saying the 49ers lost this game more so than the Bears won this game. I'll go ahead and say both things can be true.
I think some of it is that at least nationally, the 49ers tend to be like this media darling, and I think they have been since Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch have taken over. I think a lot of people were expecting more from Trey Lance, so you have that over evaluation of Trey Lance's performance in week one. He can still be good, but I thought he'd struggle in this. Forget just the circumstances of the weather. This is like his first football game in how long? First real football game playing with this team, having the weight of expectations on his shoulders, playing a pretty good defense, at least one that I thought would be. It's okay that they struggled. What do you think, Bears fans?
This is not relevant, but for the YouTube viewers, like we could have had Hoge come on and like write things on a whiteboard. Like you could have listened. And
if you're new to the show, Adam Hoge used to have this like little big board where he used to like do his player rankings for the draft, and it was like the smallest thing. Like at Soldier Field, they have like these ceiling to floor dry erase boards. Adam Hoge's was like this little one you would use to like draw up flag football plays for like 5-year-olds on the fly if they could understand it. But I always gave him a hard time for that. So if you're new, tweet him about the whiteboard. Kev, what do you think Bears fans thought of this one? We're going to play these voicemails soon. Excitement, tempered excitement a little bit.
Yeah, I think they were excited. I would imagine there's some. It was a fun win when you watch the way the second half turned out. I mean, we always talked about that 2018 season, where Eddie Jackson was the closer, and he kind of had that happen. It was so funny too, Johns, because he picks that ball off. The Bears are up 3 with 7 minutes to go. And I felt like there was no doubt the Bears were winning that game.
Yeah.
And it just was about the tone they had set at that point. Obviously, the weather being on their side. And what
that could be a strange feeling covering the Bears because we're used to them blowing it.
Very strange. But it was weird. I just like, game over. And they felt it too. Jalen Johnson talked about it. Like he said, you could tell, looking across the line at the 49ers, like they were just done. So, yeah, I think Bears fans are going to be pretty happy about it. I don't think that because here's the thing. You can say the weather helped. You could also argue, and we're going to get to this when we after the voicemails. I think you could also argue the weather prevented the Bears offense from doing some of the things that they wanted to do. So if you want to look at it optimistically moving forward, you could say, Bears offense struggle a lot, but you could say, well, maybe when it's in better conditions, we'll get a better sense of what Luke Getsy can do.
Oh, they definitely removed some things from the play sheet.
Yeah.
Matt Eberflus acknowledged as much. Okay, let's hear from you. Let's go to our voicemail line. Kent, hit the button. Let's see what fans have to say.
Hello?
Do you know who this is?
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody!
The Hoge Jahns voicemail. The Hoge Jahns voicemail line.
Believe it or not, George isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep.
Got any questions or comments about the Bears? Give the guys a call before, after, or even during the game.
Go Bears!
Hoge Cat, John Z. Bed, Kenny G, Jimmy Joe. Guess what? Bob Dabrowski here, calling in from beautiful Soldiers Field on the lakefront of glorious Chicago. Boys, we got football. Football is back here in the city of Chicago across just the U.S. of A. And today, the Chicago Bears are playing the San Francisco 49ers, a team that they should have beat last year, and they're going to get revenge. It's the Bears' revenge game, whole team revenge game. How do you like that? Boys, I'm optimistic. It's week 1. I feel like this is the season of hope, the season of rebuild. Maybe the Bears shock the world and only win 15 games, 16 games, and a 17-game schedule. Hey, crazier things have happened. Today, I like the Bears' odds. Believe it or not, I like the Bears' odds to take home a W. I know they're dogs, but I think Justin Fields is going to have himself a day. I think the only line I'm worried about here today is Justin Fields versus the amount of pulled pork sandwiches I eat. I'm already at a baker's dozen. I still take Fields. Baby Dicka's in the house. We got Spaceman Mooney. We got this defense, the Mohammed Montezuma missile, Rockon Smith. Boys, all right, I've talked enough. Let's go Bears. Super Bowl, Super Bears, week 1, get it done. Let's go. Chicago Bears down.
Well, it looks like every other year as a Bears fan, terrible inept offense and defense and weather that's keeping the game closer than it actually is. Looks like it's going to be another long season.
Hey, Hoge Jahns. Bears offensive first half. It's way too conservative. Yes, I know it was raining and crappy out. But the Niners were so much in the backfield because they were being too conservative with running screen passes, bootleg out more with Justin Fields to create those passing opportunities.
This is Andrew from Minnesota.
I just watched a third down run on a third and long screen. They don't trust their offensive line to block a 5-step drop. This is going to be a bad day.
Is this f***ing Matt Nagy calling plays again?
Hoge Jahns, John Z, babe. It ain't looking so hot. Bears down 7-0 at halftime. Defense looks spectacular. Gotta say, did not see this offense being this bad. It's almost like I'm watching a repeat of the Cleveland game. It's making for some pretty hard TV. Let's hope that this changes. They're down.
Well, the whole problem with the last lot is that they could never adjust at halftime. Let's see if Jetsy, Eberflus, they can actually change the game plan and actually see if they can come out on top.
Oh, God. Hoge and Jahns. Nick from Indianapolis. Man, I don't know, man. It's gotta... I think that Eberflus has Nagy and speed dial. I don't know what to think about that first half, but let's hope they come out and I don't know. Go Bears.
The Bears had 3 yards passing in the first half, and Matt Eberflus just said, that's how we're built.
Hoge Jahns, John Z, babe. We're checking in here for quarter 3. Things are looking on the up. We finally got a wide receiver to catch a pass. And it's Dante Pettis who's going to take it to the house on a broken play. Justin Fields with the vision. Keeps his eyes downfield after evading the sack. And that is what we want to see. Let's get some more of that. Let's go. This game is right there within grasp. 10-7 Bears. They're down.
Eddie Jackson. Jay from Connecticut. Bear down.
It turns out the coaching is as good as advertised. They made the adjustments, and the Bears are up by 9. Bears!
I got to give credit here. Winning turnovers and penalties. This game really turned around. Kind of like Lovey's back.
Bears win. Super Bowl, baby. Book your tickets to Arizona. 17-0. Let's go.
Luke from Denver. Again, I'm new to this being my second year as a Bears observer. This team is not a bunch of losers. Straight facts, last year they were a bunch of losers with a losing scheme that couldn't do anything. This year, they stuck with it at multiple positions, made plays to win the game despite the weather, and they believed in themselves. You could see how much of a team they are together at the end of the game with the formation where they all slid into the end zone in the rain. Obviously, boys will be boys, but like that was a pretty cool sign. Also, Justin Fields, let's go.
Hey Bears fans, B-Man here. Slow start, but it's the finish that matters. Got that W. Bear down!
I think Bob is still talking somewhere.
It's fun to see the evolution of like the people that called in the first quarter, second quarter. Because I said to you in the press box at one point, I didn't make the Matt Nagy joke because we saw a lot of Justin Fields in the pocket and we saw the offense not doing anything. And but by third and fourth quarter, people started getting happy again.
Yeah. If you watch. I rewatched the game. If you watch some of it, the like some of these passes that Justin Fields misses, it's like he said afterward. It was like play to play the grip. Like early in the game, there was that kind of an incessant rain, not overly heavy, but consistent. And the field was a bit saturated. There was some puddles in certain places. When players ran, you saw splashes, but then you would see the ball not exactly pop out of his hand with the same velocity that you would see on a clear, sunny day. So I think like you have to take that in account. I think the Bears coaches took that into account as they adjusted as the game went. You talk about halftime adjustment. I think this coaching staff almost adjusted per series in terms of what they were going to do. That in itself is quite the turnaround from before.
Yeah, we're a little new to that. Remember we used to talk about was it John Fox? Like they never did well coming out of halftime, and we all know about Matt Nagy's. That team struggles in the first drive. Although this team did go 3 and out on their first drive of the 2022 season. It's it's one of those games where if the 49ers had won, considering the expectations on that team, they go back to San Francisco and say, "Phew, we got out of there with a win. It was ugly. It's not how we want to play, but." Because of the conditions, we got the win. For the Bears, I think because of their expectations, they're able to say, hey, we got a lot of work to do, but we also showed we can do X, Y, and Z. And I said to you, I thought Matt Eberflus was very measured yesterday. Like you could tell frustrated with some of the fundamental issues with tackling, with blocking. He handed out a lot of loafs. I think Hoge Cat actually highlighted one on, not a loaf, but a tackling thing on Twitter where Jalen Johnson kind of tried to shoulder a guy out of bounds, and Eberflus was right there telling him he has to wrap up. So you can kind of see that constant coaching. And you can, again, everything's going to change when we talk next week, right? After Aaron Rodgers and Lambeau Field. But for this week, there's a lot for Bears fans to be not excited about necessarily, but happy about just to get that win.
To quote Adam Hoge, this week was more carnival than crisis.
Yes.
To go back to that quote. This is what we're going to do now. We're going to go over 2 things that we liked about this game, 2 things we didn't like. You're a stat guy. I want to hear your favorite stat of this game. And then quickly, let's get into Bears-Packers. There's already questions about Aaron Rodgers on Monday. It is what it is. But, Kev, let's start with you. 2 things you liked from the Bears in this game.
I actually took notes. I came prepared.
I like that.
Take that, Hoge Cat. All right. First thing I liked that Luke Getsy stayed committed to the run. Like, David Montgomery was not going anywhere. But then Khalil Herbert found some room to run. I just liked that he stuck with the game plan and didn't panic and understood the conditions, understood what was going on. And then obviously they were able to open things up for Herbert when they needed to. And we saw so often in the past few years that when they got down, it was pass. And what Fields he finished with 17 pass attempts, I want to say. Like, that's a totally fine number.
As he should on a rainy day.
Yeah, so I liked that Getsy, was stubborn in a good way, right? And understood the flow of that game. It was not out of hand. It was not in a situation where they needed to throw and try to score quickly. Like, they had time and they were methodical.
Let me inject myself quickly before you go to number 2. There's a lot of Manning cast clips out there right now because of the complete debacle that the Broncos were in the final minute, or just the entire game in terms of game management. Makes you appreciate what Matt Eberflus, all the work he put in to do what he did for week 1. But there's another clip where he mocks the Jets for passing 59 times in week 1 with their backup quarterback. Like, I thought about that when you look at Justin Fields' stats. Like, he should not be passing more than 20 times in this game.
Yeah.
It was too wet. First game against a good defense. Know the situation. Understand the game. Understand what you can and can't do. I like what Luke Getsy did. Number 2.
Let's go to the defensive side of the ball. This is a guy I highlighted in the Monday Rewind. I liked Armand Watts. Kind of an unsung major part of what the defense did. I talked to him a little bit after the game, Johnson, and what he told me was his last year at Arkansas, they played a defense similar to what the Bears play now. So I checked his Arkansas stats. He played 114 snaps his first 3 years at Arkansas. So obviously it was like a reserve. His senior year, they weren't good. They were 2-10. But in that defense, he broke out. He led the team in sacks. He was a starter all year, became a 6th-round pick. So that was just kind of some context of why he's comfortable in this defense now. He had 2 run stops, 1 for 2 yards, 1 for 1 yard. Both times the 49ers punted a couple plays later. So, he helped stall the drive. He had 1 pressure, 2 hurries. Hoge actually, he tweeted about giving Armand Watts, what does he call it, like his green marker? He does the green and red as he's rewatching the game, Coach Hoge. Not to take credit, but if Hoge had read the Monday Rewind, he would have known we were already on top of it.
Yes.
So,
number 96.
So again, just 1 game, but for a guy that just came to this team, 9 days before the game, we know the interior pressure is going to be important for what they're trying to do. I liked what I saw from Armand Watts.
He was noticeable.
Yep.
For a guy who got here, less than 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
Who's only had a handful of practices within this defense. You could see him. You could see him in the backfield. I'm not saying you look like the old number 96, but the Bears picked up a contributor off the waiver wire who had a career high, 5 sacks last year for the Minnesota Vikings?
Yep, and he was very surprised he got cut. He just didn't fit what they wanted to do there, and it should be a nice rotation with him and Justin Jones in there, and trying to get pressure from inside.
Looks like he fits here. Number one for me, let's go back to Luke Getsy. The play design of the touchdown to Equanimous St. Brown.
Yep.
I liked it a lot. We talked at length, at least I feel like we talked at length during the preseason about the play designs that Matt Nagy had. Or not Matt. Whoa.
Hello.
Whoa. That
Hello.
Luke Getsy had. Luke Getsy had for Justin Fields. Like finding guys that, like scheming guys open. There's nothing wrong with scheming guys open. This play, if you rewatch it, and thanks for Kent for putting it up on the YouTube channel here, the crossing route, the underneath crossing route that Byron Pringle runs. Like he's wide open. We all saw it from the press box, but he's like the third read. But that third read serves such a purpose. It freezes the safety. Like if you rewatch this slowly, this is a good angle here if you're watching YouTube. That back end safety there, the final line of defense, that crossing route freezes him a bit. And with him frozen, St. Brown is able to get to that corner route and have just a wide open end zone. Wide open end zone. I just like what they did. They flooded the right side, little play action. You know the Bears want to run the ball. It's wet, sloppy. Good play call, good play design. We saw that a lot in training camp. Just good plays where receivers are wide open. There's nothing wrong with that. Like it's what you're supposed to be doing as offensive coordinator. You can't expect your guys to win every single one-on-one. Help them out. Have good scheme plays. That's a great example of what Luke Getsy could do in this, like with this team, with like even with this limited personnel. Darnell Mooney's not on the field for this one, guys. He's not. It's an exceptional design by Luke Getsy. I like it a lot.
How many times in the last 4 years did we see more than one player open on a play? Like that open in the red zone? Like that, that was a big play. Because you and me, both of us in the press box immediately said Pringle. Right? And then the ball goes the other way, and you look up, and St. Brown's open as well.
But those are little... Go ahead.
Yeah, well, one thing, too, I want to say, the 2 touchdowns, right? So St. Brown was open. Dante Pettis obviously was wide open, right? You still have to make the throw. And I know a professional quarterback should hit that throw 99 times out of 100, but you know who did not hit open guys? It was Trey Lance. And it's something Justin Fields did. And we also, we talked about this a lot in 2019, that was a challenge for Mitch Trubisky sometimes. Guys would be wide open, and he just would miss. And Fields that to have those 2 opportunities to make sure he hit, again, that's an important thing for him.
Could you think, just think of the opposite. We talk about the opposite every time. What if he just tucked in a run and gained 4 or 5 yards? You watched the All-22. Heck, you didn't even have to watch the All-22. We all saw how wide open he was.
Yep.
The outrage, the pictures. It's like the Trey Burton picture in the back of the end zone against the Packers again, right? Just standing there. You expect him to make that throw. You expect him to find him, number one. Total positive. But to go back to that Getsy play design, even like the wheel route that Byron Pringle ran for his first reception as a Bear, great design, wide open. Maybe could have been a better throw, but I like what they did scheme-wise. I really do, in terms of finding matchups, confusing defenders. And you saw that again with that touchdown. Those little details of that crossing route, like when he flashes, that freezes the safety, that opens up St. Brown. Justin Fields resets his feet, finds St. Brown. I just like it. I like it a lot. All right, number 2 for me, let's go to defense. It's Eddie Jackson. I like just from a personal perspective, looking at him individually, like getting that interception in the first game, like just the confidence that he might have now, the emotions, like the feelings of pressure that he probably still had on his shoulders. It's gone now. It's gone. Great play call by Alan Williams, the defensive coordinator, had Eddie Jackson as the robber in that play. So for the Bears, having Eddie Jackson end his interception-free streak, it's a good sign for me.
Yeah, I agree. It's like basketball players say sometimes you just got to see it go through the net, right? Sometimes you got to see it on tape. That you You corralled the pick. It counted to get taken off the board. I joke with you in the press box that we spent so much time talking about the interceptions of Eddie Jackson's that did not count that I didn't realize that he really hadn't had one that did count since 2019.
Yeah. And this one really counted just in terms of situation and the time in the game. To use another sports analogy, when I used to cover the Blackhawks, they used to talk about getting those dirty, cheap, greasy goals just to end, goalless streaks. It's not a cheap one, but
whatever.
Just in terms of what it does for a player's mindset, it's a good sign for Eddie Jackson. All right, now it's time to be negative Nellies. What didn't you like about the Bears' win on Sunday?
So I'm saying this with a caveat that, as we talked about earlier, I understand the playbook was probably limited, and we'll hear from Luke Getsy on Thursday. But I just didn't see enough misdirection in that first half. And the problem with using the rain as a bit of an excuse is the 49ers are doing it. And, the 49ers look pretty good doing it. Trey Lance actually did make some pretty good throws in that first half. You remember that one? We rolled right through to his left through 3 Bears defenders for that big gain. We saw what they were doing with Deebo Samuel, and he kind of looked like, oh, that's what the Bears want to be able to do, but they're not doing it. So I just, the speed, like the team speed just wasn't there in the first half. So I just would have liked to have seen a little bit more misdirection. Like, you don't need to go crazy, but you can have some more different motions and whatnot to show what this offense is supposed to be. Because I'm telling you, like, you're not going to beat the Packers with 0 points in the first half. There's not many teams, not many situations you're going to do that against. So
let me put my number one in here too, real quick. Like David Montgomery's production.
Yep.
1.5 yards per carry. That can't be that bad. The weather is a factor only so much. I get it that maybe Khalil Herbert came in when there was a little break in that weather, but he still seemed to make that one cut and get up the field faster than David Montgomery was doing. You and I both pointed out there was one run by David Montgomery where he kind of bounced and bounced and bounced, and then he went forward. Khalil Herbert usually put that foot in the ground and go. He finds his landmark and he goes. That's what he did at Virginia Tech. And I'm not saying there's a running back controversy right now, but if that production continues, and David Montgomery's production is similar to what happened in week 1, the Bears might have a decision there to make, and just in terms of who gets the ball more.
Yeah, and Montgomery's best play was when he caught that kind of underhanded pass from Fields and was able to elude a few defenders. But and it certainly seemed like David Montgomery wasn't happy with it either. He ducked out of that locker room pretty quickly before we were even let in. And he's probably frustrated. This team needs David Montgomery.
Yes, it does.
I think the question is going to be how much and in what situations do they need him? If it's going to be a challenge for him to get that yards per carry up.
Yeah. And can I add this? We've seen David Montgomery one cut and get up the field.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen him get north-south with violence and finish with violence. This felt like a perfect game to assert that violence. And instead you had a 1.5 yards carry per average.
Yeah, and as we were
17 carries for 28 yards? Was that it?
That's what I was going to say. 17 carries. Again, like I mentioned earlier, Getsy kept giving it to him, kept giving them opportunities. It wasn't there.
It felt noteworthy to me, and I put this in my takeaways column, that when Eddie Jackson got that pick and the Bears are in the red zone or in the 21, about to go into the red zone, it was Khalil Herbert who goes out, not David Montgomery.
Yeah, because
they ran the ball 4 times with him on that drive.
Yeah, it shut the door time. And they chose, because you would think, if anything, Montgomery's your guy that can help churn the clock because he'll push the pile forward. He won't take losses.
Exactly, with violence.
Yeah.
What's number 2?
Defense is the lack of pressure on Trey Lance.
Really? I thought it was okay. Okay.
It's okay. I thought so. The total was 4 quarterback hits, and 3 of those were sacks. I just thought that I'm going to get to this later in the stat part. They didn't blitz. So you're counting on the 4. I thought Robert Quinn was better. I thought you actually go through each guy had a few pressures. I thought they actually did have had a lot of individual pressures. I just think it was one of those things where you wanted to see a little bit more. And again, I'm always thinking. Kept thinking ahead to next week, and like you're just going to have to get home more often. And look, the field didn't help, obviously, and they came through in the clutch when they needed to on third down. But essentially, they had one quarterback hit that wasn't a sack the whole game, which I believe was Travis Gibson. So yeah, maybe picking nits a bit because they did. I think I should clarify. They had a lot of pressures. They didn't have a lot of hits, and with a running quarterback like that, you want to be able to get a hand on him more often.
Agreed. My number 2, the kicking game.
Yeah.
Now I want to fault the weather a little bit here, but I don't know. I mean, that's just it wasn't good. It wasn't Cairo Santos' best day. I did like this, so it's a dislike with a like. Afterward, in the locker room, everybody goes to Trenton Gill to ask about the towel penalty, and Cairo Santos injects himself into the conversation and say, "No, that's my fault. It's not the rookies. I told them to do it. Here we are." That can't happen. I know there's some language changes with that rule, at least recently. So that's an excuse, but that's on Santos more than Gill. And then you had the 2 missed extra points. Just not good. I get that the operation is sloppy. I get that there's a water under there, but Robbie Gould made his kicks. He did.
Nobody talked to Robbie after the game.
Nobody at all?
From a Chicago side, at least. I don't think. I didn't see anything.
No, that storyline has ended.
Yeah. Do you think he was bummed, just kind of sitting there waiting for one of us to pop in and say hello?
Maybe. Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably saw some family and moved on. Still lives around here. All right, numbers guy. What is your favorite stat from this game?
So I am a numbers guy, and I got a lot of good numbers in my Monday Rewind, so check that out. I'm stealing this number from our colleague Bo Wolf, who put this in his power rankings. 4 teams over the past 5 seasons have gone an entire game without blitzing, and all of them won, including the Chicago Bears on Sunday, who joined the Bills, who did the same thing against Los Angeles in week 1, did not blitz. I thought that was a very interesting stat, and we knew going in that this is not a defense that blitzes very much, but to have 0 blitzes was fascinating to me. It obviously worked out in the end. And the fact that you go through this very recent history, small sample size, but maybe that's the key. These teams looking for ways to win, just don't blitz.
You know what I like about that? Those blitzes aren't on film. Or at least some of the ideas they might have for blitzes with Aaron Rodgers due up next in Green Bay. Just like certain calls from Luke Getsy's play sheet weren't used.
Yeah, I kind of wish my Northwestern Wildcats had blitzed once or twice on Saturday.
Yes.
But,
the advantage of the unknown. I got 2 stats that I like. One, Jalen Johnson was not targeted at all in this game.
So I have a slight correction to that.
Oh.
Somebody pointed this out in the comments on Monday Rewind. And I want to hear you take it. Technically, he was targeted on Eddie Jackson's interception. He was the corner in coverage there, because Eddie talked about how he saw the way Jalen was playing.
No, aren't there 2? There's another guy going to the outside.
There was another corner, but I'm pretty sure Johnson was the one. We want to go to the videotape?
Let's keep talking about this. Maybe Kent can find the video of it. At least the times I'm trying to remember how exactly it played out. At least I'm recalling what Eddie Jackson said, that he knew that Jalen Johnson was out there and that another receiver was heading out there. So I guess it's subjective with this, which some of it is, but I thought in general, okay, so we'll call it one target that turned into an interception for a teammate.
Sorry, but no, it's a very important stat.
A good sign for a cornerback who's supposed to be your number 1. The guy who's bought into the hits philosophy. You saw him whacking at footballs. He had a good game. Very good start to his to the Eberflus portion of his career. So,
and a great locker room quote. Jalen Johnson, I assume you're a Hoge Jahns listener. Continue having great locker room quotes. It's much appreciated.
This rookie class for a week 1 game was good. Solid. Dominique Robinson, outstanding. Jaquan Brisker, solid. Kyler Gordon, not too bad. Braxton Jones, held his own.
Yep.
Pretty good day. Okay, here's the Eddie Jackson interception if you're watching on YouTube. Oh, yeah, technically. Yeah, Jalen Johnson, the trail him inside. Okay.
I'll give my... I tweeted this on Monday. It's also my story. Dominique Robinson, 28 snaps, 7 tackles. That's a remarkable ratio of plays made on the ball. And that's not even counting his pressures. The 7 tackles includes his 1.5 sacks. But he made the most of his opportunities.
Yes, he did. Helix Sleep is a premium mattress brand that provides tailored mattresses based on your unique sleep preferences. The Helix lineup includes 14 unique mattresses, including a collection of luxury models, a mattress for big and tall sleepers, and even a mattress made just for kids. This is what you do. You take the Helix Sleep Quiz, and in a matter of minutes, you get the perfect mattress just for you. Better yet, Helix lets you test out the mattress. That's right, test out the mattress. They offer a 100-night risk-free trial. Try out your new mattress, see how your body adjusts, and if you don't like it, you can return it for a full refund. I took the Helix Sleep Quiz and I got matched with the Midnight Luxe mattress. It's the perfect blend of soft and firm. I sleep great on my back and side. I know I'm sleeping well too because I have more energy in the morning. I also fall asleep right away, which is always good. Delivery was fast and easy, but don't take my word for it. Helix Sleep has over 1,200 5-star reviews. Helix also supports military, first responders, teachers, and students by giving them a special discount on their website. So here's the deal. Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattresses and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helix.com/Adam. With Helix, better sleep starts now. That's helix.com/Adam.
Now a word from our sponsor, Liquid Death. If you've gone to a convenience store lately, you may have noticed those strange tall boys of beer near the water section. That's actually not beer. It's actually mountain spring water from the Alps, and it's called Liquid Death. It's available in still, sparkling, and it comes in 3 flavors. Why is it called Liquid Death? Because it'll brutally murder your thirst. And those infinitely recyclable tall boys I was telling you about help bring an end to plastic waste. They also donate 10% of every can sold to help kill that plastic pollution. Anyone that wants to stay hydrated knows that freezing cold can is definitely the best way to quench your thirst. Let's Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger that thirst with Liquid Death. Heck, even give your kids some. Drink it in public while jogging at 9 a.m. Enjoy those tall boys with Liquid Death. Get Liquid Death at your local 7-Eleven, Jewel, Target, or CVS. Or find a Liquid Death retailer near you with the store locator tool at liquiddeath.com/Adam. That's liquiddeath.com/Adam.
As you gear up for fall, you need the right people on your team to help your small business fire on all cylinders. LinkedIn Jobs is here to make it easier to find the people you want to talk to faster and for free. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 810 million people. Then add your job and the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring so your network can help you find the right people to hire. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. That's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Adam. That's linkedin.com/Adam to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. One more. No offensive penalties.
Yeah, big one.
In fact, Sam Mustipher, Justin Fields' slides, they got penalties.
They did.
They did. This is different. That felt so un-Nagy-like to me. Using the cadence, like just the awareness of the situation to snap the ball by Sam Mustipher, even the sliding, just the quick slides from Justin Fields, and now the calls that he's getting, just feels different to me.
Yeah. You really turned this into a bashing Matt Nagy podcast.
No.
Last I checked, Matt Nagy's quarterback threw 5 touchdowns on Sunday.
He did. Look good.
I threw in my story. It hasn't pissed anybody off yet, but I was going through Justin Fields' stats, and he was second in the league in touchdowns per attempt because he only had 17 attempts to the 2 touchdown passes. Number 1 was Patrick Mahomes. Different days for both of them, but
5-0.
Kind of a fun stat.
There are a lot of things to like from this one. Like another observation for me, and I put this in my takeaways column, is how Dominique Robinson talked about his sacks. Like the stuff he saw on film of 2 veteran, accomplished tackles. That's coaching right there. Like the way he saw Mike McGlinchey oversetting, or Trent Williams, the way he kicked his foot. Little tells, little tips that he got on film. That's coaching. Eddie Jackson breaking down his interception. That's coaching. And then Justin Fields breaking down the interception that he threw. What he tried to do with his eyes with Fred Warner, tried to get him out of the area to get to Darnell Mooney. That throw was there, but he didn't see the backside safety. Check down in the flat to Cole Kmet. Just to hear them articulate, like immediately after the game, what went right and what went wrong. It's a sign of coaching, and in Justin Fields' case, development.
And more importantly, it gives us, the writers, plenty to work with.
Yes, it does.
Because that's what everybody cares about.
All right, quickly. Bears at Packers. What are your early thoughts?
Dun, dun, dun. I'll give you a stat here. Aaron Rodgers, 5.74 yards per attempt in the season opening loss in Minnesota. That ranks 185th out of his 213 career games.
Wow.
However, last season, week 1, Packers lost 38-3. Rodgers was 15 of 28, 133 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks, 36.8 pass rating. One of, if not the worst game of his entire career. The next week, Green Bay, at home, against an inferior opponent. Rodgers, 22 for 27, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 145.6 rating, and a 35-17 win. So
the Packers are 10-point favorites already. I feel like that's gone up.
I mean, I know, who was it? Was it Roquan Smith said yesterday, like, we're going to get them at their best because they lost and we're excited about that? Why would you want that? You want the Packers feeling confident and feeling good after blowing somebody out. You do not want to get Aaron Rodgers on an Aaron Rodgers get right game.
Yeah.
On Sunday night at Lambeau, unless there are things that happened within that game that are more systemic than the Packers are hoping for. If, you talked about overreacting, right? So the easy overreaction was, the Packers didn't do a good enough job replacing Devontae Adams, right? So maybe there are things in there. There are some cracks there in the foundation. Then it's different. But if you just look at Rodgers' career, and you look at this rivalry, you look at the players in the field, I'm not sure how much stock I'm putting in what they did against Minnesota.
It's going to take some good coaching. Let's not overlook the concerns the Packers have, though. You mentioned Devontae Adams, the receiving core. There's question marks there. I would say the Bears' secondary might have the advantage over the receiving core.
Maybe.
I think. You don't think Jalen Johnson can handle Allen Lazard?
No, here's the problem. If Trey Lance didn't target Jalen Johnson all day, what do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to do? He's not going to throw Jalen Johnson once. He's going to look up and see who's against Kendall Vildor, who's against Kyler Gordon. He's going to throw it to those guys all day.
See, I think Kyler
those
Gordon's
guys have to make the plays.
Kyler Gordon is going to get better. He got beat bad against the 49ers, but he's a rookie.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to get turned around. He's going to get better. I don't know exactly what the ceiling is for Kindle Valdor. We've seen him at the floor a few times, but that's a matchup Rodgers, he's going to want to try to exploit. But the second question is, why is Justin Jefferson running wide open all the time?
Yeah. How many points do you think the Bears have to score on Sunday to win?
They got to hit the 20s.
Yeah. Say 28?
Yeah. Have to.
Yeah.
But then again, I wouldn't be surprised if they kept it close. Those Lovey teams.
Are you going to predict another? Are you going to predict another Bears win?
No, I don't think so.
Wow, you have no faith. You have no faith in the Bears.
I think they
Zero
could cover
faith.
the 10. You think they could cover the 10?
Yeah, I think they can.
Maybe they lose by a touchdown, but
I think this is going to be another test for the coaching staff because, you could have as a young team. Prime time at Lambeau Field with number 12 on the other side. It's going to be easy for kind of eyes to go wide a little bit. And how many guys is the moment going to be too big for them, right? For a Braxton Jones, for a Jaquan Brisker, for Kyle Gordon. Everything we've heard and seen from these guys, it's not going to be too big for them.
Yeah. Jaquan Brisker strikes me as a player who revels in that moment.
Yes, I agree. But it's easy to say that now about what we know about them, but then when the game begins and you hear that crowd and you're in that building and you're under the lights and you see Rodgers, it just could be different. So it's a massive test. We will know so much more about this team on Monday than we do right now.
Agreed.
By the way, a rough weekend for the Hoge Jahns alma maters.
Agreed.
I don't know how did Ignatius do?
I don't know. I have no idea.
But Wisconsin lost. Northwestern lost.
The ND Dons lost.
ND Dons lost. The Highland Park Giants, tough loss. I am wearing actually my Georgia Southern shirt.
Why do you have a
Georgia Southern for their win over
Georgia
Nebraska?
Southern shirt?
They beat Nebraska. I immediately. No, I'm just kidding. Shout out to Home Field, not a sponsor. Could be a sponsor. I don't know how that works, but I do love their shirts, and they did a mystery box, so you don't know what shirts you're getting. And one of my shirts was
Georgia Southern.
I got Georgia Southern. It's very comfortable, and I'm sitting there.
One of these Hoge Jahns shirts.
I've got some Hoge Jahns gear, but I thought I'd represent the Georgia Southern Eagles. Clay Helton that went over Nebraska. It's pretty entertaining.
Sure.
Listen, if your team is going to lose at home to Duke, like my team did, I'm allowed to revel in the Hoagie Cats losing to Washington State and to Chris Emma's Huskers losing to Georgia Southern, to Chris Emma's Irish losing to Marshall. To Nick Moriano's Hawkeyes losing to the Cyclones. Who else is to Pat Finley's Mizzou Tigers losing to Kansas State. So
Joe Romano's Wolverines, though.
Yeah.
JJ McCarthy's the Chicago kid. Now he's the official starter, is he not?
I know. Yeah,
he looked good.
He looked really good. Yeah.
See, I got some college football analysis for you.
Look at you. Yeah. Do we have any? I'm trying to think of other alma maters of friends of ours in the media room who's lost. That's all I got.
I'm not sure what the St. Norbert Green Knights did. Keep talking, I'll find out.
Illini, they won. They might be okay. So rough week for the alma maters. I think the Northwestern should get right against Southern Illinois this weekend. By the way, I might take my son to his first Northwestern game.
Yeah?
This weekend. Yeah. We'll see how long he lasts.
The Green Knights beat Stevens Point. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh. Was this the last game? Yes, it is. They beat Stevens Point, UW Stevens Point. Big D3
Is anybody still listening to this podcast, by the way, at this point, you think?
I'm not sure.
Do you want to do an over? Let's do an over-under. 59 and a half minutes my son lasts in Ryan Field. He just turned 2. It's going to be his first time at a big sporting event.
Oh, I'm giving you like 43 minutes.
You think, yeah. All right. You want to set the over-under at 43 and a half?
43 and a half minutes. You're going to have to feed him.
My goal, the game starts at 11.
Walk him around. Get him to play football.
Yeah. Kickoff's 11. My goal is, can I get him to noon?
Yes.
That's the goal.
Okay.
I'm
I'll give you
hopeful.
that. I'll give you
All
that.
right. And if we're, I have, he could just watch YouTube on my phone. That's fine if he wants to.
Okay.
But we can recap this next week. So we'll go. My goal is to get him to noon. I'll let you guys know how it goes. Yeah.
All right. That's it. Fishbain and Johns. Thank you, Kevin. Adam Hoge might be back. I'm not sure. He still sounds like John Fox.
He just texted me.
He's back?
No.
He's not back.
Yeah.
You and me again on Thursday?
We'll see.
Okay. Anyway, thank you, Kevin. Read us at theathletic.com. He's got his Monday rewind up. I got my 5 takeaways. We'll have more later this week. A lot of great stuff. Bo Wolf, talked about him earlier. His power rankings are up. Dan Pompei's post-game thoughts. Post-game Pompei is up for Monday as well. So check out all our coverage. Go to obviousshirts.com for the Hoge Jahns merchandise. YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And I guess follow Adam Hoge too. allchgo.com. He's breaking down that film, as always. That's it. Thanks, Kev. See ya.
Justin Fields time, baby!